He led a company of Marines, U.S. Marines, in the capture of Noveleta. Noveleta is in Cavite, no? Where the Filipino revolutionaries under Aguinaldo were, of course, rather strong. He was also involved in the Boxer Rebellion in China. He won one of his medals of honor there. The Medal of Honor is the highest award that any military officer or enlisted man can receive from the U.S. Of course, they have here in the Philippines, you have the Medal of Valor as its equivalent. And he also served in Central America and the Caribbean in what is called the Banana Wars. Do we know why it's called the Banana Wars? I think this is where you get the term Banana Republic, right? Is it just because they have plenty of bananas there? No, we'll see later. Okay. Unless anybody wants to volunteer an answer. No volunteers. So he's the only person to be awarded the Brevet Medal. Brevet Medal is one of the also a very distinct award. It gets you promoted beyond above all the others of your class. So he won the Brevet Medal and 2 medals of honor. But the question is, why don't we know him? Why is it that we know Audie Murphy and Jacob Smith? Why is it that this genuine war hero, several campaigns, 3 medals, 2 of them Medal of Honor. No movie, no book about him, and we don't even know him. Why? Because he wrote a book in 1935 when he had retired, War is a Racket. Actually, he turned against his masters. He said, there isn't a trick in the racketeering bag that the military gang is blind to. I spent 30 years and 4 months in active military service, and during that period, I spent most of my time being a high-class muscle man for big business, for Wall Street, and for the bankers. He came out with the truth. In short, I was a racketeer, a gangster for capitalism. Next slide. During those years, I had, as the boys in the back room would say, a swell racket. I was awarded with honors, medals, and promotions. Looking back on it, I feel I might have given Al Capone a few hints. The best he could do was to operate his racket in 3 city districts. This was in Chicago, right? I operated in 3 continents. So you have Asia, Central America and the Caribbean, and because he also served in France during the First World War. So he said, all of that was it for democracy? Was it for peace and stability? Was it for Christianizing and educating the people of the Third World that they occupied or they colonized? No, it was for big business. It was for Wall Street. I think that has been adequately explained also by previous speakers, and I hope by some of your professors in the university, if you were lucky enough to have a progressive or an anti-imperialist professor, which I think is rather rare now. Okay, so we fast forward. Oh no, we have to go back to that Boxer Rebellion. Can we have that colored slide? Can you turn back 2 or 3? This one. Okay. Because I want to use that one. The Boxer Rebellion, as we said, was China. Now the important thing here is that you have here listed the imperialist powers that banded together. They call themselves the 8-country alliance. You have Italy, United States, France, Austria, Hungary, Japan, Germany, United Kingdom, Russia, Japan. Oh, that's, I'm sorry. That's, okay, we have to delete this. So there, they all banded into one big joint army, something like your coalition army in Iraq and Afghanistan, to fight the Chinese Boxers. They called the Boxers because their name was Righteous Fists, they called themselves. And this was a secret. It started as a secret society, but they were able to influence or gain the support of the emperor. And so the emperor issued a decree ordering the imperialist powers to leave China, to leave Beijing. And that was why the imperialist powers waged war and defeated the Boxer rebellion. So the US was there, and the US was again there in 1911 and 12 when the Kuomintang under Sun Yat-sen seized power. And of course, during up to the Second World War, up to the time when the Kuomintang party led by Chiang Kai-shek, now no longer by Sun Yat-sen, and the Communist Party of China led by Mao Zedong were engaged in a civil war, the US supported, of course, Chiang Kai-shek of the Kuomintang until Chiang Kai-shek was defeated and driven out and was forced to set up their state and government in Formosa, calling it now Taiwan. So you have a long history of U.S. aggression, all under certain pretexts. You remember, again, just for a flashback, that the Spanish-American War also began on the pretext of the U.S. Avenging the blowing up of the battleship Maine in Havana Harbor. But again, we all know that the main aim there was to seize Cuba, to seize the sugar, to gain control of the sugar plantations, and other states, other countries in Central America, where the big business interest was in planting bananas, tobacco, agricultural products for the use of the United States. And the big company here, which General Butler said that he was serving, was the United Fruit Company, UFC. This is not the same UFC that makes the ketchup. This is the United Fruit Company of the U.S. They had all of these plantations, much like you have Toll and Del Monte now having their plantations in Mindanao. So that was the source of the term banana wars. And because of the constantly changing, the unstable political situation where you have coups and counter coups, depending on whether a government was serving the interest of the U.S. or not. So the term banana republic came to be used to mean something that was so unstable and ephemeral. So we all know that the U.S. emerged from the Second World War as the most powerful and the most prosperous, being also the most unscathed. Is that unscathed or unscathed by the war? No? But to prove the point that it was really the most militarily supreme, it also exploded 2 atomic bombs on Japan, something that has been debated and many believe that it was really unnecessary, but it was necessary from the U.S. point of view to show that they are the superpower. So there would be, Ms. Davidson a while ago mentioned that where some would think that the bombings in Laos were the most brutal and the worst that the U.S.